Hi everyone, welcome to Mind Money Method, the weekly market scan. So as usual, no surprises, starting off with the dollar index. If you go and look at last week, you actually saw me speak about how the previous 2 weeks had all these big candles and big movements down, big movements up, and then the candle started getting a bit small and it started looking pretty decent. I think it was around about there where I did the last week's scan. And I spoke about how I started to see the small candles, and the smaller candles is what interests me more so than these big massive movements, because these big massive movements, you get it wrong, you're going to be caught out quite quickly. And it's more, sometimes it's because of big news announcements that you've got these big candles and big market moves. And that, to me, to be trading in those markets, it's more like gambling than anything else. So I like to be precise. I like to use my technical indicators. I like to use my psychology foremost than anything else, which would lead me into then analyzing in a professional manner. And part of my professional analysis and technique, when I look at the technicals, is I like to look at the small candles. That's what intrigues me. And it needs to go across multiple time frames. And if you heard me say last week, and like I said, you can go and look at the trader development video from last week, I did say that I like the small candles, and I saw the market where it was going, that the highest probability was that it would continue its downtrend and there would probably be a pullback into the sell zone. But I saw price pulling all the way down close to the 9400 mark. I said 9400, but close to the 9400. And if we look, the market did exactly that. Came up, pulled in as it was expected, and then it actually had a nice pull down. And literally, I mean, we did close off 94.17. So yeah, it's exactly what the markets did, but then it has pulled back up. So it was a great week in terms of trading, and the markets worked out accordingly, and the dollar index did as I suspected, due to the technical analysis and the multiple time frames and what I saw. So once again, proving the point and proving the fact that we treat this more like a business than gambling. Obviously, if we were going to be gambling, we'd be going to the casinos. So and I'm not good at that. So I prefer to treat it like a business and make money the proper way. So that's what the markets did. This week we can see that the dollar index has rebounded off the 9400 mark, and it's had quite a strong week. And it looks like we could continue to push up a little bit more, but it's not a real clear trend. There's not anything that I'm too excited about this week, that's for sure. Last week I did like what I saw, but this week it's not exciting me whatsoever. And we can go and actually look at the other time frames. There's definitely, look at this candle over here on the monthly. We don't know where we're going right now. We're going up or where we're going down. So a bit of indecision. We don't know where we're going in terms of what's happening with the dollar index. So if we move on to the Kiwi US dollar, I've actually marked it out quite nicely over here. We've actually got the downtrend. We had a nice bit of consolidation. It's part of one of our strategies over here that we show and we discuss in our courses. And this worked out quite nicely. And we've continued to push down. We've had a pullback right into the sell zone, a little bit past, but we are looking potentially that we're going to hit down here. So I'm actually eyeing this. I'm not in the market right now. Was in a few trades, as I've mentioned in the past, on the Kiwi US dollar, but I'm not in it at this point in time. I'm actually waiting to see what's going to happen. I'm waiting to see if price is going to come down to the 62.32 area. I've actually got an alert on, as you can see. And if it breaks that, I potentially will look for price to potentially break that, pull back in to this level, and carry on moving. So for now, I'm not in any trade, but I am definitely stalking this market in terms of looking to see if the bearish momentum is going to continue its bearish momentum. So if we move on, one of the things this week I wanted to show you and I wanted to discuss is a lot to do around, let's go to the Aussie US dollar. So last week I also discussed how we've had some lovely downtrends with the Aussie dollar, and as you can see across multiple time frames, we've had a downtrend on the weekly, downtrend on the monthly. This is the daily strong downtrend. If I minimize that, downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. I then mentioned that it's not a market for me. If it had closed bearish there, and once again, please go look at last week's trader development video. I did discuss this. If it was a bearish candle there, it would then get me potentially, I would have been placing orders in the market for it to roll back. It never happened. In fact, it's gone and pushed on further past. And now what's happened is, the question is, are we starting to change trend? Are we starting to now see the Australian dollar starting to strengthen against other currencies, in terms of the downtrend of the Aussie dollar is starting to come to an end, and there's a bit of strength in the Aussie dollar? Well, from a technical analysis, we're coming down here. We've been making a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, but then we've broken the previous lower high and we've gone past it. Now, it's now formed, potentially it's now it's a higher high. It's higher than this lower high over here. It's a higher high. Are we going to form a higher low and push on? So I'm going to see how the markets, the Australian dollar, what's it going to end on at the end of this week. I am monitoring this. There's potentially a change of trend. For how long? It could push up to around this area over here, 74, but there's a good 300-400 points that can be made, which is a fair profit. So potentially that price could be pushing up now and starting to change trend, but obviously we have to have this on multiple time frames. And if we go to the weekly, we're starting to see, yes, it's actually been, let's just minimize this because I want to get this candle over there. It's been it opened at 71.90 and it's on 71 so it's actually looking a little bit bearish in terms of on the weekly. So it's a bit bearish there. It's indecisive. So all in all, there's not enough strength here to tell me, from a technical perspective, that the market is definitely going to be pushing up, because I don't have multiple time frames in agreement. But what I do see on the daily charts between price action and my indicators is that we have convergence taking place, and potentially there is the chance of this now starting to break the trend of the downward momentum and starting to go up. So it's definitely not 100%, but we need to monitor this, and we need to stalk this, and we need to see what's going on. Let's go look at maybe the Australian dollar to the British pound. And once again, it's a very similar sort of looking chart. Very similar. In fact, smaller monthly candle over here on the weekly. And, potentially, once again, I don't have, I say potentially, let me finish that sentence. Potentially, we could be breaking up and starting to change direction on a movement up to probably around here. But it's not strong enough because I don't have the weekly in agreement with the monthly right now. With the daily chart. So it is something I'm looking at, potential movement in terms of change of trend. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong, when the trend changes. So these are the things we cover quite a lot in all our courses, because it's a huge important factor to take into consideration and to understand when a change is happening in the trend, because a lot of people don't see it and don't understand it, and they would potentially continue to say, hey, the market's going to continue bearish, that's how it is, but they're missing the fact that there could potentially be a change in trend, or the fact that we have now changed trend, and instead of selling, instead of buying on the change of trend, they're still continuing to sell. So folks, I'm going to leave it at that. My plan for this week is, there's not too many charts that are exciting me. It's more of a stalking week at the beginning of the week so far. There's stalking. I'm not in any trades, and right now I don't plan to be on any trades. Why? Because I plan to choose the best of the best. I'm not wanting to force a trade. In other words, I'm not desperate to make money, because we should never be in a desperate state to make money. We need to be calm, collective, and we need to see what we're doing properly, look at our charts and analyze them correctly. So folks, my plan for the week, as I've said, is a stalking week so far. No plans to enter, and I'm not in any trades at this point in time, but I wanted to leave you with, when does the trend change? We need to start understanding that. So once again, if you want to understand more about the courses that we've got, please get in touch with us at info@mindmoneymethod and find out more about our courses. Go look at our courses, our products and services, and feel free to get in touch. Just even if it's a telephone call you'd like to get in touch, we're happy to phone you, or even Skype call you. We give out 15-minute free Skype calls with anyone that's interested in Mind Money Method. So just get in touch through info@mindmoneymethod, and we will gladly get in touch with you. That's it, folks. Happy trading, and I wish you an awesome week. And yeah, happy trading, everyone. Cheers.